early.
You're
Yo,
back again, man.
what it do, man?
Another episode
Another
of early.
episode of early.
What's this,
It just came
115?
Straight. 114.
114.
I think.
114.
Yeah.
Let me not get ahead of myself.
Um,
Subscribe, y'all.
Yeah, subscribe to the
Do
channel.
that, man. Coming on
Um,
other platforms as well, too, man. Definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely been looking into Kick, so we're gonna be on there soon.
Yeah, shout out to live streamers.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because like sometimes we forget that that's what we do with this. You know what I'm saying? This is a live stream.
100%.
We often, it's like this joint can be a lot of different things, like podcast, just like regular video or whatever. But we definitely are streamers, and Kick is the new place for streamers.
And they handing
so
them fucking bags out.
yeah,
What?
That's a big fact.
Yeah, gotta see what's
That's
up.
a big fact. Let's see if there's a piece of that pie for us.
We've been giving y'all value for almost 3 fucking
years.
years. Yeah, charge it to the game.
We got a dope episode in store today. 100%. We got a cool interview with Alex Sadler, real cool homie
100%.
from
CNN's finest.
Yeah, she's working at CNN, so she's gonna tell us how that all came about, and it's really cool because her story is pretty like her story or her journey or whatever is pretty like unorthodox. You know what I'm saying? But it's filled with a lot of like dope projects and dope things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I always like to highlight and promote unorthodox paths because it kind of shows you it's not like a one piece fits all type of thing, and everybody's journey can like differ, and it's like never feel actually discouraged where you might be in one position in life and you're trying to get to the next one and you might not be able to see the connections, but little do you know you fortifying the skills you're going to be using when you get to that position anyway, you know. So it's really dope.
And it's crazy because like there's so many things like outside of the interview, like we're gonna get to that, but it's just like there's so many things that like that we could talk about today. You know what I'm saying? 100%. But it's cool that we got this because like NBA free agency starts today, so by next week there's gonna be a shitload to talk about.
100%.
And hopefully we'll be on Kick by then, because I feel like that's a good time to like go back and forth between the two of us. You know what I'm saying?
And
maybe interact with some like 100%.
Yeah.
So definitely we'll have all of that information by next week. Not exactly sure like, where we'll be streaming and anything like that, but
subscribe, you'll know.
Subscribe to this channel, YouTube, and all of that will be, revealed. Right. But now, we're just gonna go ahead and get into this interview, and then we'll go from there when we get back.
Without further ado,
for sure. Let's go to the interview.
You ready?
Another dope guest in the building. First of all, thank you for tuning into early. You know what I'm saying? We got another dope guest here with us, Alex Sadler. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. I told you guys this earlier. This is like my first podcast.
Hey, tough.
We're excited to break you into the podcasting world. Because like I said,
I guess should I ask? We're allowed to cuss, right?
No, you are good.
I can tell she's a rookie.
Right.
No. You're absolutely fine. We're definitely we're all homies here. We all talk our shit. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I got the first cuss word out there just so you know it's safe. Just so you know it's safe. You know what I'm saying? But like I guess real quick before we get into the conversation and everything like that, just go ahead and let people know, you know what I'm saying, like who you are and what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my name's Alex, and I went to way back when I went to Hampton University, like studied sports management and marketing while I was there.
Did you know I went to Hampton too? Did you know I went to Hampton too?
Yeah. Oh shit.
I don't remember if we talked about that before.
Last time we did have this conversation. And I was like, oh shit, we hella like knew each other.
Yeah.
What year?
I graduated in 2013.
Okay, so I was 2014. So
So we was right there.
Like,
for sure.
For sure.
All right.
Went to Hampton, but got my degree in sports management marketing, and I'm not doing anything pertaining to that now.
By choice?
Yes and no. Like basically I wanted to be a sports agent when I went to school, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be like Tom Cruise,
Right.
and
Jerry Springer, Jay Maguire,
but like the black version,
yeah,
female,
the black lady version for sure.
And then I interned one summer at a sports agency, and I was like, after that shit, I was like, oh fuck no.
So it's not the glamorous life that we think it is. Nah.
So what was it that turned you off? That made you say that?
I feel like that would be popping, even if it is shit. Because like every job is gonna be shit when you're an entry level.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that would be popping.
I think because of the age that I did that internship, it turned me off because, like, you know, I was young. I was like,
you didn't think I had to do all that.
It's not better than this.
I don't have to do this. Like, this is what y'all have to do. Like, and I honestly felt like it was like glorified babysitting of like grown ass people.
Well, okay, wait. Now okay, so like what types of things that were you doing? Like what types of shit were you doing that was like,
I worked like side by side with an agent to kind of like see what the day-to-day would be like.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I was doing like the coffee runs and stuff like that, which I have no problems doing because I feel like, you know, you got to earn respect. You got
similar to like a PA on the production set. Fact.
So, but he did show me like what type of lingo and what type of language to look for within like a contract and stuff like that. But I did also see the other side of things where it was like you getting calls at like, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning because homie's like stranded somewhere, or he did some dumb shit, or you know, like
okay, I see what you say. I see what you mean by glorified babysitter. But I've literally never understood how agents become that in an athlete's life, or even like in a movie star's life or whatever. It's like how are you getting in? Like you run out of gas and you call your agent. You don't call your sister. You don't call your, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't call somebody in your family. You call your agent. Like how does that even come about?
It's because honestly, once you become into the entertainment world, which is completely different, it's literally like there's the real world.
Yeah, there's social media and then there's entertainment.
Right. I think it's more of like, it's kind of like a comfort thing. And I appreciate the fact, because I always said like my whole thing going into being a sports agent was like, I'll make sure that my clients are always good. It's never about just the bag for me. It's all about what type of opportunities are going to help them and help them sustain their financial wealth and everything, and not, oh, let me just get my 10% and go. Right. It's more of like
you were trying to establish like a real relationship or connection,
nurturing, not like a mother, but like nurturing type thing.
So you
want to retain your client,
but you're into that, but you're not into the babysitting. I don't understand.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that's what that is. No,
it is. You're right, and so. Like I said, I think it had a lot to do with the age that I was. At the time, I was really, really young. Like
you got over it, and you got over it quick.
So like I've got a little bit of more patience.
Okay.
Whereas back then, I was like, why the fuck?
I'm not doing this shit.
Really, dog?
Nah, that's
like when you got to deal with the client and their baby mama drama, or like, you know, shit's getting dicey because they're on the baby mama's on social media.
Talking shit. You gotta mitigate the situation.
Right, exactly. So like I was seeing all that shit, and I was like,
sometimes
it's funny. So I grew up watching Entourage.
Yeah.
So like Jeremy, I look at a nigga like Jeremy Piven, and I'm like, on the one hand, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, that's lit. I want to be that guy for guys, right?
Yes.
But you also kind of see where things that should have nothing to do with him, because it's not even entertainment related. It doesn't have anything to do with what I do for you, but you're hitting me up for, that's kind of why I'm confused. It's like, well, why does your car break down and you hit me up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that. You know what I'm saying?
These people become so intertwined.
Yeah. Like life kind of intertwines with profession, with business.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially since it's like, I'm looking at you to get me like major business deals and secure my bag and count my money and make sure my money's good. So of course you're gonna want, you know, like somebody that you trust. To the point that it's like the person, if I'm stuck on the fucking side of the road,
I gotta know I can trust you. Yeah. Okay. So, it could be like a little test every now and again. I hear that.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And I mean, to be honest, and at that level, right, the agent got resources that your family or
facts
that they can never,
like he's probably not gonna get out of bed and go get you, but he might call AAA for you or some shit.
Same thing, like, yo, if you go into court, you ain't going like, yo, my Brody, he know me best. Like, I'm going to my lawyer.
Yeah. No facts. When you get hemmed up, you're not calling your guy. You're calling your lawyer.
Like, he can't get me out of jail.
Nah, facts.
Really fast.
So how do you go from after like like where do you make that turn from like I don't want to do this no more?
Okay. So after that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then I graduated from school and I didn't do my due diligence while I was at Hampton. Like, yes, I got good grades and shit like that, but I wasn't like actively going
networking and stuff. Yeah.
And, like,
I kick myself all the time. I wasn't doing that at all. I kicked myself for like, why was I even there?
I wanted to be at 12.
Like, what was that? I didn't make no connections right after school. I went to school and then I graduated and I had to start all over.
Let me get these good grades.
Like, right? Like, who do I show this to? Who do I show my diploma to or my degree to?
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened with me. So I was like, damn. So after I graduated, I was like, well, I just got to get a job. And so like, did the whole temp agency thing, worked at like a law firm for a little bit at the front desk. Then I worked for like BP gas
Is this still in the realm of trying to be in sports agent type stuff, or like were you in just kind of starting from scratch?
Trying to get a bag.
Put it on pause for a second. Like I always
start from scratch.
That I wanted to be in the sports industry.
Yeah.
But not in the aspect like I eliminated the whole agent aspect of it.
That's funny because I feel like I always knew I wanted to work around sports like when I was growing up. Yeah. So, but I went to school for biology. So I was like, trying to do the medicine route. Yeah. And I was like, let me be like a little physical therapist for the Redskins. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I'm going to make my way in the locker room somehow.
How do I still make sure that I get them free?
I want those games. I want to go to those games. You know what I'm saying?
And it's so crazy. Sometimes it's like when I even reflect, I'll be like, man, it's so crazy how my perspective was kind of like skewed because back then, like when I even thought about sports, I literally thought about the literal playing of it.
Yeah, no, that's where it started for me.
Profession.
Yeah.
So
but still, but still you pivoted and been like, okay, physical training.
Because like the older you get, like the less likely it's like I'm gonna play for the team. So it's like, well, how can I still like use what I know to be around the team? Like, how can I be like athlete adjacent? So you're doing the temp agency thing.
I was doing little like jobs here and there, and then I actually got my first like real job at this. Do y'all remember like Time Warner? Like, those little infomercials we used to see, like, late night with, like, CDs and shit. So Time Warner actually had a office out here, in Virginia. And I applied for, like, a coordinator position for their cruise division. Okay. So, like, basically, they were trying to keep Time Warner together, like, still keep it relevant, right? Because nobody was buying CDs and cassette tapes, and like infomercials weren't like a thing anymore. Yeah. So their cruise division kind of kept that alive, and they had like different themed cruises, but it was all for like, excuse my word, but like older generation. So we had
they got their cruise lines.
Like there was one cruise that was like the Soul Train cruise, then there was the Flower Power cruise, which was like for all the hippies and shit. Yeah. Then there was the country cruise, and then there was what was it? Fuck, I can't remember what it was called. But either way, like I was working for the cruise division. I was the coordinator. I was the youngest person on the team. I was maybe like 22, 23 at the time. And like the next oldest person was like 40.
Jesus.
Yeah. Damn. So like I was on a team.
You were the baby.
Yeah, like I was a baby. And I liked that job. I did. I liked the people that I worked with. I liked, being able to get my creative on, and it kind of like made me expand my creative a little bit more, because I wasn't thinking for like my generation. I was thinking for like older generation.
I hear that.
Like shelling out ideas for that. So like that was really cool.
Get into research and all that type of shit. Right. Like I can't use my perspective.
Right. And then we were like promoting at the time. We were promoting like this the Flower Power cruise, because like that was like the newest cruise that they added, and so I got to go to what was it Kentucky, and they had this like big ass festival, and it was like isn't Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, Muhammad Ali's from Kentucky.
Right? Yeah. So I was in Louisville, and it was like they had it at the museum of like where Muhammad Ali, like the Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
museum,
yeah.
which
That's
was, like,
crazy.
super dope. So like I got to like experience some good things with that. But which kind of sucked. They fired me like right before my first cruise, and I was supposed to go to Curacao or something. I think it was because
That's crazy.
like they was running out of money,
and they didn't want to pay for you. Like it'd be easier to get rid of her. Easier to get rid of her.
Wasn't trying to say we couldn't get another
but they were like, you're not cool enough to come cruise with us. And I was like, well then, all right. But yeah, so like that, I worked there for a while, and then I ended up, I started working in the restaurant industry. My boy actually came to me and he was like, yo, I got these investors. I'm about to open up my own spot. And like, I want you to like come work with me, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up going to work over there for a while as like a manager, which was really dope. It was a dope spot. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but it was Roy Boys, and it was like Roy Boys Chicken. It's like right near Howard. It was right near Howard. It's not there anymore. But yeah, so I got to really kind of expand my horizons with that as well.
And that's dope how you don't really, it doesn't seem like you necessarily have any type of reservations in terms of what the job looked like. You like, now you in the food industry.
Yeah,
like, yo,
because I had bills to pay.
Right.
Facts.
And then my whole thing is like, yes, I definitely got down on myself a few times, like, you know, especially with the whole social media aspect, us going to
it's like,
Hampton.
where am I going? What am I doing?
Us going to Hampton, and then like seeing, you know, like Cheyenne's on
TV,
and then like Delena's doing her thing, and like, you know, all of my
so
friends.
That's that social media thing, man. It'll fucking kill you.
I caught myself in that hole a few times.
Yeah.
When I was like,
and it happens at different times. Like I feel like you could experience that. You could kind of get over it, and then you can think you're, you know what I'm saying, past it, you're doing your thing.
Right.
And then, you know, you get on there, you see one thing you don't like, and then all of a sudden you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? What am I doing even?
What am I doing?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
what is my life? Okay,
what is this? What have I been doing for the last 6 years?
That's the thing, like you can see that, and you celebrate people's successes, but you get overly critical on yourself.
It's like you said, like it is a celebration of them, but it's now like a questioning of yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. I'm happy that person that was able to make that happen for themselves, but it's like, how come I can't make that happen? But also the thing is, you don't understand what you are making happen for yourself because you're living in it every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't really realize like all of the like jobs that I had to work before working at where I work now at CNN. I had to do it. It prepared me for where I am now. Like working in the restaurant industry, working in the sanitation industry, getting fired from my cruise job, like everything. I took so many things from all of those different positions and was able to apply it to where I am now. But back to what I was saying as far as like, okay, so I worked in the restaurant industry, and then randomly I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready. Like I liked the night, like the industry life is great. But it is very like hard on the body. Like, you know, you gotta be like Roy Boys didn't close until like 1 or 2 a.m. So I was like, you know, drinking a lot, doing all that. So I was like, okay, this is kind of like wearing and tearing on me. And so as I'm thinking that, like my god sister calls me one day and she's like, hey, you know, like we have this movie production coming up, and like our production coordinator just dropped out last minute, and like I think you would be awesome. And I was like, okay, like I don't know shit about movie production or production in general, but okay, cool. Like
that's a hell of an alley-oop, dog.
Man, super.
That's a hell of an alley-oop.
So basically, my god sister and her husband, they have their own movie production company. It's called Octet Productions. And it's actually based out here in DC.
So
nice.
And you know, there's not that many like movie production companies out here.
That's true.
And so they ended up getting like a deal with BET to do a couple of movies. One being like a romantic comedy, and then the other being a Christmas movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was really dope.
Yeah.
So they brought me in, and they were like, "Okay, so this is what we're gonna do." All out of their house, by the way. They live in Potomac.
What year is this?
This was 2000. I want to say 2018.
Okay.
2018, 2019, around that time. And like they're doing all of this out of their house, by the way. Like we started very, very small and kind of like expanded from there. But basically I go to their house every day. They showed me the script because we did the romantic comedy first.
Okay.
And she was like, look, I just need you to be the production coordinator. I was like, okay, what?
Like, what do I do? What do you want me to do?
Right, like I need you to give me the cliff notes.
Yeah.
If you even need to give me the book for dummies, like, that's fine.
Let me follow you around doing the job one day.
So basically, I wore a lot of hats as the production coordinator, but I was more on the admin side of things, like making sure that location agreements were sent to the right places and that they were signed and they were filed. Like dealt with like SAG stuff, making sure that all of the actors had their SAG information, everything was inputted the way that it needed to be. It was sent to the people that it needed to be sent to, booking hotel and in flight accommodations for the stars, all of those things. Like it was a lot. But the cool thing about it is that they gave me the script, I read it, and it was just so cool to see like how we built everything from that script, how it manifested. Like the actors, like I was able to be in the room when we were picking the actors. Like they were asking me for my opinion.
That's very
even like the location agreement, like going to different locations and looking at all these places. They were like, "What do you think about this?" I'm like, "I think this is dope." Like because they wanted a perspective of somebody my age because the main character in the movie was my age.
Okay.
And so they were like, I think you would be great. Like, we just need your input because you know what the young kids
like what they're thinking about and
whole
stuff like
time
that.
I'm like a whole 27-year-old person at the time, but okay. But yeah.
But you still, I feel like you can still bridge that gap from,
for sure,
you know what I'm saying? Like the olders to the youngers.
I think our generation is that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
unique.
we're very unique in the sense of we can rock out to all the old school shit. I love old school classics, movies and
music and like,
but
culture.
Then I'm also really down with the new shit too, you know? So 100%. I think I love the fact that our generation is where we are at. Because I think
I think we're a good bridge.
The perspective we have is kind of crazy. Like
it is.
It's like, yo, we still remember the old tech of AOL, bro. And like, yo, get off the phone. We trying to get on the internet. Like,
get off the phone.
Like, get off the house phone.
Get off the house.
Like, get off the go use your house. Go use your phone. Like that. There was no like everybody had one phone in the house. Like everybody shared the same phone. You know what I'm saying? Like if I got somebody calling me, like, you know, my mom could be using, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's so crazy to think about.
Pay per text message.
Oh, dog, you have to pay per text message. You had to like print out directions before you left the house. You know what I'm saying?
Does anybody?
Like,
is MapQuest even a thing anymore?
MapQuest is a thing. I can confirm because I use it.
MapQuest was a game changer because...
And it was a game changer in itself.
Because we were coming from maps.
Yeah, like literal maps.
Hold up.
It won't tell you where you're going. It's like, look where you are and figure out how to get to where you're trying to go. Like, I think I'm trying to go here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, and it's so crazy because you think about like when we were in like elementary school and middle school and they were like teaching us how to read maps. Social studies.
You know what's crazy? And you know what's crazy about maps? Like,
we had to have the plot points and everything.
Bruh, it's crazy because first of all, like the roads don't always look the same. Like if there's construction on a road or like a road is shut down for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole shit is null and void. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ways to tell you. That's what I'm saying. Like GPS will tell you like there's an accident here. Go this way instead. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like if you take a wrong turn, it'll redirect you. All that shit before, it's like, it's crazy. It shows how resourceful we were. But I feel like something that is unique about us is that we are like the last generation that will know what it was like pre-internet. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like even though we were kind of like baby-ish when internet came out and we were able to like experience the advancement of it.
Super glad that we were.
Oh no, 100%. 100%.
I'm so glad that like we had imaginations as kids. Like,
you know,
ran out, we went outside.
100%. Yeah. Because people be talking. Sometimes people be like, "Yo, I wish I was born in the '60s, the '80s." I'm like, "Yo,
no,
baby. Like,
yeah, '90s is perfect. '90s is perfect.
I wish I was born in the '80s, so then I could have like lived out my college years in the '90s.
Why? What was happening in the '90s that you had to be a part of?
Like trademark moments of the '90s.
You know, there's like
imagine being like 18 watching MJ is like, "Yo, this is like, bro, this is really crazy," or like. There's so many different types of music.
I mean, I feel like I'm
Pac
not,
and Biggie, like I'm really like living that shit,
And
hitting
I'm not going to
different.
even hold you. Like the concerts,
Crazy,
you think concerts back then were better than concerts now?
from a standpoint of them being more authentic and real. And I'm not saying that people's concerts aren't authentic or real today, but I think it's just more amped up on the, we got to have the technology of this. And
It's like plyometrics and like, and it's like a sea of cell phones when you're at a concert. Like everybody's watching it through their phone as opposed to like watching it.
And that's what I miss. It's just like the whole like, when you would go to a concert.
Yeah, so to be a young adult, I think in the 90s would be cool, but I think being a kid in the 90s was really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the cartoons that we grew up on, like you know what I'm saying? Like versus like the cartoons, if you were a kid, if you were a young adult in the 90s, then you probably grew up with cartoons in like the 70s or the 80s. And those cartoons were shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like those cartoons were shit. Like they didn't have rocket power. They didn't have like they didn't have Hey Arnold, you know what I'm saying? Rugrats, you know what I'm saying?
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, Ren and
Angry
Stimpy.
Beavers.
Yeah, like I feel like our cartoons were lit.
They were.
And even some of the other like culture things around like TV. I feel like TV was more popping. TV was actually most popping, I think, in the 90s.
I think so too.
Because like in the 80s, people were just used. It was like having a computer. It was just people were just getting used to making something for the TV. You know what I'm saying? And by the 90s, they were hitting the stride. We were getting all the good sitcoms. We were getting all the, you know what I'm saying, like the good movies.
And I feel like we're getting right now to a point too where I'm like, I feel like we're even seeing this slow transition even away from the TV, right? Like there's a lot of networks that people don't even tune into because you have streaming platforms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or a lot of people are really used to, and like a lot of the brands now, like they want that
that's all they want it on your phone. Watch it on your phone. Like watch this on your phone.
Like this. And like our attention
and they're making it for that.
Result are actually getting shorter. It's like, yo, where are people going to watch the content like the soonest? Where are they gonna get it to? Like, all right, just get it right there.
Direct access on your phone.
100%.
Yeah, no, it's
100%.
It's a crazy time.
I'm trying
to we keep getting sidetracked. Let's get to CNN. Back to Alex and how she got to CNN.
Exactly.
But yeah, going back to working at the working for my god sister and her husband just gave me all of this like different perspective and knowledge that I am so grateful for, especially just like I said, seeing it on paper and then seeing it become a full production and like all the work. When I say it was like 16 to 18 hour days, I have never been so fucking tired in my life. But getting up, even though I would go to sleep at like midnight, 1 o'clock, but had to be up at like 6 a.m., I was still able to get up at 6 a.m. and
you were looking forward to it.
Like, yes, because, and that was when I knew I was like, oh, this is where the fuck I need to be. This is what I want to be doing.
100%,
like behind the camera,
100%.
being on some creative shit, like seeing how things are made. Like, because one thing I can tell you, I am a TV lover, watcher, like all the classic movies.
That means all three of us in here are like what you're saying about like just seeing the script and then kind of seeing it. Like, I love that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was the most amazing process because like I remember going to one of my favorite coffee houses in DC and sitting there and just reading the script from like front to back. Like it was, and then the next day it was like, okay, let's sit down. We've got these actors that we're thinking about and these are their budgets and like we just have to like figure out who we can. And I'm thinking to myself, like, after reading the script, oh, I know exactly who can play this. Yeah. Exactly.
You absorbed it.
Yeah, I did. And then like the research into it, like the whole process of making a film is super fucking fun. And it can be tedious. It's long as fuck, but
rewarding.
It's dope.
Yeah.
And I resonate with that so much because I just helped with my first film set in November. I helped shout out Cadell Cook. Definitely came on our show several times.
Friend of the show for sure.
Shout out Milan Paris as well. They Cadell directed and wrote that, and Milan helped produce and starred in it as well.
Awesome.
But that was in November. It was a 17-day shoot. I was able to assist 12 days basically as a PA and just doing like a lot of just
which PAs are very fucking important.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, like I'm doing gaffing work. Boom, like moving equipment, all types of shit. But like what was so crazy is like, to your point, days are long.
Yeah.
Days are long. We're talking like and to our like it wasn't necessarily to the 16, 18, but we're talking 12, 14. And sometimes for even the nighttime shoots, when they transition to that part where we're catching those type of scenes, pulling up at 6 p.m. It's like, yo, we're not leaving.
Who knows when you're leaving?
3 or 4.
Like that's just you just put it in your head.
Do those days feel long? Do they feel like, is it like a drag? Like I can understand liking the work, but still, like sometimes I'd be like, I had plans for when I got home. Like
I didn't feel it until I laid my ass in the bed at night.
Yeah, and then you're like, damn, I've been up since this time.
Yeah. And
I love that.
To me, it's like it's both, right? It's both, right? It's like
depends on the day.
It could be both simultaneously. And so like this is what I mean. Let's like so I could look at the time and I could be like, damn, like you know what I'm saying? Like we've been here, but but like this is what I'm saying. Every time the moments in between looking at the time, I'm not thinking. Oh
yeah.
And another thing is, not only is it like, oh yeah, you feel like, yo, this is what I'd like to be doing, or like this is the type of environment I like to be in. It's like, no, in real time I'm learning. Like my brain operating differently, bro. It's like I know this is the setting I want to be in, and it's like I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what that means. Like
so
terms or like different types of things. I'm like, gotta get on that. Gotta get on that. So I'm kind of like, yo, bro, like no part of me is uninterested or bored with the process. I'm like, no, I gotta actually be tuned in.
Kind of like recalling what you learned too. Like after you learn something new, I be thinking about it
100%.
Like as I'm doing whatever task, it's like, okay, it's interesting how they told me that, or like, and also I also like to take appreciation into how people teach me things. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm learning, say like I make a mistake and somebody's like, it's like a teachable moment. I take that into conversation because I'm like, and when I'm in your position, like I want to know how I'm gonna communicate to somebody, like you know what I'm saying?
Handle that situation.
And I'd be like, when somebody handles a situation with me well, I'm like, I like how they handled me in that situation. Like I can appreciate that.
I fucked that up, and I thought you was gonna rip my fucking head off, but actually. You
handled that with grace.
100%.
You gave me grace. I appreciate that.
100%. And like, one thing that I'm so grateful for too as well, right, is that I could help on that film with somebody that I already had rapport with for like a couple of years, but now helping him on his largest scale thing to date, right? And even like throughout that process, it now gives me even a standard of like, I always will refer to my experience that I had on that type of set.
Facts.
And there's inevitably going to be a time exactly when I'm directing a set and things like that. And like, they really showed me an example. I'm like, yo, bro, like it was real like camaraderie, like to the point where it's like, yo, we're working, but exactly like, yo, this is a unit. Like I fuck with everybody on set.
In the trenches together.
I fuck with everybody on set. We was out here, bro, like putting them hours in to get this shit to work.
And like when you're doing something like that with a team of people that like it's like being at camp. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna build a bond just from the fact that y'all are together learning different things about each other and shit.
100%. So now it's even like I'm very pragmatic when I go about things. I'm like, look, I don't expect all sets to be exactly how that was.
Yeah.
That was
amazing.
Even like if you're saying things can be tedious, it's hard work. I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other sets where you're dealing with different personalities and different types of things where it's like, the rate is what I agree to this. Like, I'm happy to be here and shit like that. But there's a lot of things that's kind of testing me, like personally. I'm like, damn, like, all right, I won't be here, but this shit blowing me. So
it's like one of them joints that like feels like work.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So like you do have those jobs that it's like, well, this is what I do professionally. So like every day is not going to be like a great day. Every team is not going to be a great team. I still got to show up and do my job, but like,
But us as content creators, us as directors and shit like that, it's like, like I'm definitely thinking about the like larger scale of things. So it's like, I may assist on different sets and filling these different roles, but inevitably this is the type of things that I want to direct, that I want to produce and things like that. So it's like, them setting that type of example, I'm like, there's a type of etiquette or like a type of I guess like an energy that you can definitely cultivate within you. And I'm like, man, I'm so glad I got a great example of that type of shit.
Yeah.
And even understanding the timing in between it, right? We shot that in November, December, and that is supposed to be a Christmas film.
Yep.
And that's going to be airing in 2023.
Which we're coming up on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
exactly
it's
what it
really
was
even
for us
cool,
too.
that
Yeah.
preparation. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's like, it's out of pocket. I'm also very cognizant of the fact, I'm like, yo, bro, people, like, this ain't funded by nobody else, but you know what I'm saying?
They're making it happen.
You know, just making it happen.
I totally get that. And I mean, from a standpoint of working with my god sister and her husband, like, it was amazing working with family. It really was, from a standpoint of you feel comfortable and like talk to them about like I wasn't really fucking with that shit.
Yeah.
We were saying other work environments like, yo, I don't got nobody. I ain't talking to y'all.
Right.
I'm gonna keep this to myself.
Huh, that's interesting. I feel like
folks.
I feel like that could kind of go either way. You have people that because it's your family.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Maybe.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
It definitely, there were times where I was worried about my relationship with my family and how it would look after working with them. That's definitely something that crossed my mind for sure. Just because, of course, you're like, I don't want to mixing business with family sometimes can be very, very tricky.
Yeah.
But I would never take that experience away. Just because everything that I learned, and I also kind of give them a lot of credit when I'm talking about my position at CNN now, because if I didn't have the experience that I had on my resume from a movie production company, that being Octech, I don't think I would be at CNN right now. You know what I'm saying? Because they're looking for, oh, does she know anything about the industry? Has she, even if it's not in the same realm as the news or whatever, she knows the entertainment industry. She knows what's going on behind the scenes. She knows what to expect in certain situations, those types of things. So I give Octech and
that was the first and only type of thing in production that you did?
Yeah.
Before CNN?
Yeah.
And
it only takes one, folks.
Dope, like,
you only need one.
It's really dope because like we definitely about to get to that point where we're at your current point. But if I'm not mistaken, and this might not have been your next position because it seemed like you really, you be on the ball with it in terms
I know,
of like,
I work a lot of damn jobs.
It's not. It's really dope. You know what I'm saying? Definitely commend you for it. But like, if I'm not mistaken, did you also fulfill a job where you were taking care of like retired NFL?
I was, yes.
Yeah, please talk about that. Like, bro, like,
you said the NFLPA?
The PFRPA.
Oh, the
so
PFRPA.
The Pro Football Retired Players Association.
Fighting for the rights.
So that was actually after working at the movie production company.
Okay,
I didn't go straight from movie production to CNN.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it was because like with movies, of course, it's like you get the budget, you do your thing,
and then that's over.
And then it's over. So it was okay, and we don't know when the next contract is coming through.
For sure.
They got to see these first couple of movies.
So how long were you working on that movie?
So the first movie for the romantic comedy, I only did 2. Or worked on 2.
Yeah.
And the first one was a romantic comedy. We shot that in like 2.5 weeks.
Okay. So it was 2.5 weeks worth of work, or you were working
2.5 weeks on set.
Yeah.
But the months, a lot of work. There was like I think I was working with them for about 4 months before
on that one.
On that one.
And
then the next one was like kind of like right after. I think we started prep. Or pre-production on the Christmas movie while we were still kind of like it was like this. Okay, so ended, I was tired as shit, went home, went to sleep, and then I actually flew to LA the next or 2 days after we wrapped up the romantic comedy and was on my little vacation for a girls trip, whatever. Right. And then they were like, okay, when you get back, I just hope you know that, we going right into pre-production for the Christmas movie. And I was like, okay.
So it was about like 8 months straight of work?
Yeah.
That's
the
a good
thing
time.
is so crazy because we did all this pre-production stuff, which took months, but then we were only on set for like 2.5 weeks because, of course, it's about the budget and making sure that we can get as much, like, more bang for our buck.
And I feel like that's why you do 4 months of prep so that it's a quick shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're so prepared for everything.
Let that be a lesson right there, y'all. Like, preparation really makes for a smooth workflow, or a smoother workflow if you were trying to do shit on the fly.
It really does,
and
especially in production.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, like, in this kind of like social media era, you do have some of these creators that are super talented and they kind of like make posts about how they don't put too much into it. Like they do a lot of shit on the fly and then it comes out amazing. Don't fool yourself and think that that's the way to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is not the way to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
And I tell people like this, like, right, there's one thing when it's a matter of you taking initiative, right? And it's a matter of you getting started. It's a matter of you getting started, go ahead and don't wait on anything. But then you're gonna get to a certain point where, you know what I'm saying, you've been doing these same type of processes, you've been progressing, and you're going to get to a point where you want to scale it, you want to get bigger, you're going to realize that teamwork make the dream work. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to outsource, and a lot of the things that you might have been doing to yourself, it's like, guess what? There are people that can do better jobs at the ones that you've been fulfilling for yourself.
Big facts.
So open.
I agree with that.
Open up
your mind. Like,
bring people in.
Yeah, open up your horizons, because
100%.
hope is very, very, I think, important. And if the person that you are talking to or like wanting to work with has a good vibe, because like I'm an energy person, and I know for a fact, like if we're having real energy and good vibes while we're just having normal conversation, then I'm pretty sure we could probably work together on some creative shit.
Or you'll give it a go. Like,
or I'll give it a go.
I'll definitely see what's up with it.
We'll see what's up. And if it don't work, okay, we're still cool.
We tried it.
But yeah, I mean, working on movies with my god sister and her husband, it was great. I loved it. I definitely felt like I had to not prove myself, but I definitely wasn't playing the card of I'm the family.
Yeah, like not it wasn't trying to be nepotism
like,
based.
I went up in that joint and was like, okay, I'm on the level. I'm on the same level as y'all. Yeah. We're all here to work together. That's kind of how I approach everything, because I just feel like at the end of the day, a team is better than somebody by themselves. Yeah. I just feel that.
And just to add to that, a team where everybody is playing hard is better than a team where like one person's playing hard and everybody else is kind of just eating off of like what the other person does. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but it's so funny how we hit the little Yui back to it, because I'm definitely interested in the
NFL joint. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So moving on, I worked on those 2 projects, and then I was like, oh shit, okay, now I need another job. So I went on LinkedIn, and I put my resume out there, and the PFRPA contacted me, and they were like, we're looking for an office coordinator. And I think, you know,
how'd you feel too? Like at this moment, you're like, yo, sports, like, yo,
and
like,
I was like,
it's been a little minute.
I was hyped.
And I know
he said I'm back. He said I'm back.
Asian work, like,
so let me dust off my pantsuit.
Okay. I was like, this is what's up. Okay, cool. So I went in for the interview. And it was a small office, small organization. It was me, office coordinator. Then there was like the president of it. Then there was like my boss. Then there was like the the director of communications and like director of player management or something like that. Okay. And then the director of social media. So it was a really small office, like in Arlington, little, like they own a little office building within a big ass office building. But basically the whole premise and the whole purpose of the organization was to provide benefits to retired football players. And I know y'all know, like, we all say like NFL is like not for long, or like they don't get the benefits and things that they deserve, especially these guys that played in like the 80s and 90s, bro. Like, and they was going way harder.
They forgot about them.
Yes,
right?
they're like the forgotten
like, oh,
people.
Shit.
They really are. Like, there's a lot of guys that are living at home, like living normal lives, like go to work every day, and you would never know that they used to play in the NFL. Like, really. But yeah, so the whole premise was to give them benefits, dental and vision benefits. And
Is that like beyond their playing years, like for the rest of their life type stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beyond their playing years to provide them with them and their spouse with dental and
what's the success rate on? Does it just happen, or is it like you going through like hurdles where there's sometimes like, do you fight for them and like they don't get that shit? Because it's like,
well, you know, there was that big ass, like there's like a big ass case.
100%, like the shit that like that Will Smith movie was like basically with the CTE and shit like that.
So it was big ass like class action.
So
case.
you came in afterwards, or it happened in the midst of?
No. Okay. I came in after. So the organization. So
they're like, yo, we about to run them up. They need to pay out.
The organization was formed after the class action lawsuit happened, because from that class action lawsuit, they were awarded money for these like retired players. And they were like, look, we're going to give you this much money and you do with it for the retired players as you see fit. So whether that be like health benefits, it's really hard to get health benefits, by the way, but they were like, we have to do something. So within that within that class action lawsuit, the organization became a thing.
Okay. So you guys were kind of like, I guess like facilitating that for the players?
Yes.
Or for the retired players?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so, like we would go to I got to go to the Super Bowl in Miami.
No fucking way.
Right before COVID hit.
No fucking way.
I swear it was
that.
Man, that's like.
Which one was that?
Miami.
No.
Miami.
Like,
when they played.
Who played?
When they played, it was Kansas City and damn, who was it? Kansas City and somebody.
Not Philly. No, Kansas City when they won.
Was it Kansas City?
When they won?
Let me see.
Yeah, let's look that up.
They got one. They got one.
Who did they play? Who did Mahomes beat? Mahomes beat.
Because I remember.
Hold on, I'm gonna put.
I gotta make my way to a Super Bowl before I die.
2019.
I gotta make my way to a Super Bowl. I mean, I thanks, Brooke. I know. You're right. No, but I hear that. I hear what you're saying, because it's like, no, you're right. Like I am gonna go. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm making it sound like it's impossible. Would you say, Alex?
It says Patriots and Rams.
Patriots and Rams in Miami.
But
you don't even remember. You was having too much. You was having too good a time.
You were there when the Chiefs won.
You was having too good a time a week.
I was like, I didn't go to the actual like the game.
Yeah, but you were That's I feel like that's popping. Like,
that's all that matters.
What was really cool is like, so I was there to work, obviously. But when I went out there, like they had this big like convention, not convention, but like this big it's convention,
kind of like an employee tailgate, like
it was dope.
And networking thing or whatever.
I'm sure there's so much shit going on.
No, it is
so
it was
much.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it was so dope.
I can only imagine.
It was Miami. I was like, oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and they always
my best friend to fly out. I was like, hey, just get the ticket.
Just be in. You just got to be in the city for like the joints like that. You just got to be in the city.
Megan came with me. Megan came with me, and I was like, hey yo, just get the ticket, and I got the hotel room.
Yeah,
we good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, something like that. You just gotta be in the city. You gotta be in the vicinity of like. It's like All-Star Weekend. You just gotta be in the city.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or South by. Sometimes South by Southwest. You gotta be in there.
Yeah, working at the PFRPA was super dope.
Yeah.
I loved the message and everything that they stood for. Because I'm not the biggest fan of the NFL all the time.
Because of this type of stuff?
Yeah. Because it's like they dispose of people like they're not human beings. And like they didn't bleed out. And granted, it's something that
I
got a soapbox. I got a soapbox to stand on. No, I want to hear you out though.
They chose it, right?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit.
But it's also like they chose it, and that was their choice for sure. But a lot of the people, especially like a lot of the guys that came from like the 80s and 90s, like that's all they knew. And y'all know this, like how in growing up, it's hard for people to basically, or guys, to kind of like find their fitting. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna play basketball, or I'm gonna play football, and I'm actually talented at this. So I'm gonna make some shit happen, and then make shit happen.
Have any know-how of anything outside your sport.
Because if you think about it with the NBA, for example, NBA, you go in that joint, it's guaranteed money, okay? Whereas with the NFL, it's a more physical sport. You're damaging your body way more. And it's like, damn, I can't even get like a fucking, I don't know, like I barely get a pat on the back on the way out. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Like,
nah, to that point, it's like, it's tough that there's actually a body that will fight for the players, right? Because the league, like, you're like, I'm sure what you would argue to the point is like, of the league, is like, I'm not going to do it. I don't gotta do it.
Right.
You wanted to play?
This is what you signed up for.
I'm not giving you anything, but on the other side, it is dope that people will probably look at the situation and be like, well, I'm gonna try to fight for your shit and see if we can't get something up out of them. Because they do end up getting a lot of things out of them anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good, no. I'm saying from a standpoint in the organization that I was working for, it felt good to be on that side of things, like fighting for these players. Because I was the girl at the front desk answering the phones, and like when the players would call, I was the first person they talked to. Right. So like, of course, sometimes I would just like spark up conversation, and they were just like, "This is like." It was one day, I can't remember the guy's name, but he called and he was just like super emotional about it, and he was like, "What your organization is doing is like." So beautiful. Like it's been so hard for me to get benefits on any level. And you know, like I'm just so grateful and I'm so appreciative. And in that moment I was like, damn, like I feel good about working here. Like I'm so grateful to be here. So I was the last person to have been hired. So I was the first person to be let go. And he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I think you're great. I think you're amazing. And I was like, I totally understand. Like, it's all good.
You could tell it was a hard conversation for him.
You know, but we're going to keep you employed until I think it was like August, maybe September.
Okay, let's give you a heads up.
Yeah, like you know, and he let me know this when I like probably like April, May. So like I had some time.
But get your affairs in order.
Get your affairs in order.
Got you right.
I'm giving you, but we're still
Let's turn up for the summer.
Right? Like,
yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool, whatever, bet. Like it is what it is. I'm sad that I can't work for this organization anymore, but I'm very grateful for the experience, and I'm very happy that I was able to meet the people that I met and work with. So so that happened. And so of course it's COVID summer, and like, you know, like people, you know, like I had my friends come over and stuff like that. Of course they were like not sick. We But it just so happens, one of my boys, his name is Alex as well. I used to work with him at Crimson, downtown DC. And he came over. We were having a crab feast one day at my house. And so I invited a few friends over, and he actually brought his brother with him. And his brother's name's Anthony. And me and him were just like shooting shit on the deck, having a conversation. And he was like asking me about like where I've worked and stuff like that. And I was like, well, you know, I worked for a movie production company, and then I worked for the PFRPA, and like now I'm trying to figure out what my next step is. And he was like, really? He was like, well, tell me more about like when you worked in movie production. And I was like, sure. Like, so I told him, and I was like, that's honestly the time where I felt most alive and most happy, and fulfilled. And like waking up in the morning, I was like, yes, like I'm going to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really how I felt.
It's a hell of a place
to
be.
I was very grateful for that whole experience. And so I think what he told me was that he saw a spark in me, like when I was talking about it. And so then he starts saying like, you know, like I've been working at CNN for like the last like 8 years now. And I was like, oh, that's dope. Like, you know, what do you think about it? He was like, I mean, you know, it's a job. And he was like, I love it from the standpoint I'm a filmmaker. I do, you know, my own thing on the side, but it's a dope job. I fuck with it. And I was like, that's what's up. And he was like, well, you know, like after like before the pandemic hit, my boss was telling me that we need more people. And I was like, true. Okay. And he was like, and I just talked to my boss like last week. It's ironic that I'm here talking to you now because I just talked to my boss last week, and like, we're still looking for people. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, you about to like, are you saying you about to
is this a recommendation? Should I come into the office tomorrow?
Exactly. What are you telling me?
Or do I gotta go online and apply? I hate that.
Right.
It's like I need a personal referral. Like FaceTime your boss right now.
Let's call them together. No, so he was like, no. Like, yeah, I definitely think you would be dope. Like, I think you would be great. So I'm gonna set that up. And I was like, okay, cool. So of course we're still in the height of the pandemic. Everything is like still extra fucking weird. And he was like, you know, it's weird right now. We're not hiring or bringing any new people in right now at this given moment, but I know within like a month or two. And I was like, okay, cool. So I, you know, thugged it out, whatever, did what I needed to do for the next couple months. And then one day, you know, I'm kind of like thinking to myself, okay, is this really gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know,
Having your doubts.
And then he reaches out to me and he's like, hey, so like, when are you available this week to come in and like interview? And I was like, interview? Like, he's like, yeah, I told you. Like, remember when we had the whole conversation? I was like, yeah, I remember the conversation.
It was like a month and a half ago.
I just thought like shit got quiet for a second.
Facts.
I
haven't heard from you.
You just
thought you ghosted me.
Right. I just thought this was one of those moments, you know, when you have a conversation with somebody. And, so he was like, no. He's like, that's one thing that I've always been keen on is like keeping my word. And that's something that, and shout out to Anthony, because that's my boy. Honestly, he is the first person in a very within this industry that has like said they were gonna do something and did that shit. Right. So you know, brought me in for the interview. I ended up meeting my boss now. His name is Michael Brevner. He's super dope. I love him, and it just so happens the world is super small. But when I was growing up, we lived at Foolish Pleasure Road, like over near the soccer flex, right? Yeah. So my neighbors, who actually also happened to be my sister's godparents as well, they used to have these dope ass parties all the time back in the day. Like my parents would like just have to walk right down the street, turn up, and then walk their asses home.
That's lit.
Yeah, great little setup. But my boss used to be at those parties all the time with my parents, so he knew my parents.
Oh shit!
And he like knew me when we were like just chopping the shit. He was like, so you know, and you know, shit, you
love that when you walk into an interview. It's like, I got this job. I got this job.
Like,
yeah,
this is great.
That's lit. So I'm supposed to be here.
I'm supposed it was like
on the Germantown back road.
That's crazy.
To be here. Yeah. And so went in for the interview, and then they were like, you know, we're gonna bring you on as a freelance for now, kind of like test run, trial run, see how everything goes. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm down. I was like, I just want to be real with you though. Like, I've worked on sets and I've worked as a production coordinator. I don't know shit about working on a camera because he brought me in to be a camera operator. And I was like, well, I was like, I just need to like let you know now, like, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Don't worry about that.
And that's exactly what he said. He was like, but are you driven?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, are you going to get up and come to work every day and be ready to learn? Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy.
I'm with the shit.
Yeah,
I'm down. Like, I'm here. And he's like, all right, that's all I need from you.
That's the best.
And so...
Tough. So how did you go about learning the cameras? He just kind of taught you everything on the fly?
So it was like a process.
Okay.
So like the first thing that he wanted me to learn was A2ing, being the audio person on the floor for the A1 or the audio person that sits in the control room. And I'm the person that mics people up. So like that was the first thing that he wanted me to learn. Faxing out with the A1s and making sure that all of the equipment works, like the microphones and the IFBs work. And then also learning how to fax cameras as well, making sure that there's tally, making sure that the prompter looks good, making sure return looks good. Like that was like the first thing. So I did A2ing for a while, like for a good little minute.
And could you get into A2ing for people that might not be hip to like the terminology, what A2ing is?
Oh, okay. So A2ing, I don't really know like the actual technical term,
right.
but so there's an audio person that sits in the booth or sits in an audio booth in the control room that controls all of the levels.
Like mixing or stuff?
Yeah,
okay.
Does all of the audio mixing for the shows. I am the person on the floor. The A2 is the person on the floor that's miking up the people. And I don't even know what our boxes are called. This is tragic, but the little little headgear that we be wearing, the little box, key in them and be like, hey, I just mic'd up such and such. Can you check them? And they'll go into the IFB and say, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, bet. And make sure that they'll be able to hear the programming. Because, you know, there's like SOTs and videos and stuff that play that they need to hear so they can comment on it. So that's basically what an A2 does. So there's the A1. The A1 is the person in the control room doing the mixing. And then the A2 is the person on the floor miking the people and making sure that like the mic placement is good. Because like, I don't think y'all know, like I didn't know this. And I watch TV so fucking different now. But like the microphone placement is super important.
Yeah.
So like we have this like round table that like, you know, Jake Tapper and all of them sit at, and they'll have like round table discussions. So he'll be sitting like, I'm Jake Tapper. And then if this person is right sitting next to me, it has to be on their left lapel because it's right
It might
here.
pick up theirs if it's on the right one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like one of those, it's super important for the person in the control room that's mixing, because sometimes if they turn a certain type of way, you can lose their audio.
Yeah.
So like if you see me kind of keep going in and out with the microphone, because I know that it's important that you might not be picking up everything that I'm saying if I turn or some type of way. So I'm doing it like subconsciously.
Yeah.
So yeah, did the whole A2 thing for a while. And then that's when he was like, okay, now we got to throw you in the camera. And I was like, y'all don't even understand. I was scared shitless to get on camera. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, throw you on camera.
Like he was like, I want you to be on camera. Like not like in front of the camera, but like you got to be behind the camera.
Oh,
I'm about to start showing
I thought you meant like on camera.
Oh,
like
no. I said
and tonight we have I'm Alex.
I'm Alex Sadler.
Like
and
with
you're
CNN.
in the situation. No. But yeah, so basically it was like, but we started gradually with the camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, okay, I want you to get this single shot. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll take a single. So we have like 4 different desks that we use at CNN. And it's one called Home Base. And so it's literally like kind of like a curvy type. And you can have like the host in the middle and then 2 people on the side if you have guests.
Okay.
But within that, you can get a single shot, a double shot, or you can take the whole shot of like the whole table. Yeah. You know, we always go off on our tangents. But back to your question, I just say like hard work definitely pays off. I know it sounds super cliche, and I'm still going. This is honestly only the beginning for me. And I also think it's important to network, and really, because I've networked, don't get it twisted. I definitely networked. And I definitely talked to so many different people that I was introduced to through other people that were like, I got you, I'll do this, I'll do that, but they didn't follow up. But keep networking, keep like doing what you're doing, and I know for a fact that somebody will look out, and if they don't, you'll meet the right person that will introduce you to a new job, a new person that will introduce you to another. Like, it's just keep doing it. Yeah,
that's dope. That's fucking
like,
dope.
Truly, like shout out to like Anthony for hooking me up with the job. Like, I'm forever indebted. Yeah, for real. Yeah. Anything that in the people that I work with now, like all the gems that I'm getting on a daily basis. Yeah,
I was gonna say, you sound like you're just like super appreciative in general of all the people in your life that have kind of like paved, opened any kind of door for you or whatever.
Man. And even if it's in the most minor way. Yeah. But that minor shit leads to
all that shit adds up.
It really
all that shit adds up.
It really does. And I think like as long as you have good people around you that are supporting you and leading you in the right direction, I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah, facts.
Shit.
Alex, man, appreciate you.
This conversation. I felt like we got lost in the combo.
So your first podcast done. How do you feel?
I feel like this is fucking awesome.
So let's do this again tomorrow, guys.
Can we make this
can I come back?
Can we make this a weekly thing?
You're gonna be on CNN doing this one day. I swear to God.
But like on some real shit, like all no lie, like confession, I literally had been like feeling some type of way for like the past couple of weeks. Like, I just feel like I was feeling like I was kind of like in the twilight zone a little bit, like getting up and going to work, going home, doing the same thing over and over again. It was Groundhog's Day every goddamn day. I was just changing clothes type shit. So this is a very nice little like surprise in that.
Oh yeah.
Routine.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'm definitely appreciative, and talking about all of this has made me more appreciative and more grateful for the opportunity. Instagram is at Alex Simone. Simone is spelled with a C. C-Y-M-O-N-E.
That's important distinction.
I had to let that be known.
That's important distinction.
I wanted to be different and shit. And then I have LinkedIn, so just look up my name, Alexandra Sadler. But yeah, like I'm kind of like simple. Like that. And if you want to email me, I guess I'm on Gmail. Like, you know.
There you go.
But
on Gmail, like what's your Gmail? He said I'm on Gmail.
My name at
you don't gotta give it out if you don't want to, but like she said she's on Gmail. Like okay, I'm just gonna type in
my name at Gmail, but it's like all one word. It's Alexandra Sadler.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
All right, bet. Yeah, man. Alex, again, appreciate you coming through. This has been an amazing conversation.
I know. I love it.
You're such a natural at this. I don't know why you.
dope.
Yeah, I don't even know why you were. I don't know if you said you were nervous. Maybe I
was
threw
a
that
little
on you.
nervous because
Okay.
I was like, I don't know what I'm.
I don't think she said it. She just says it's the first one. I assume that that's what that meant. But nah, you did a great job, and I honestly think that there's a lot of value in this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a lot to learn from. We covered a lot, so I appreciate you being like versatile and like interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like that part.
I was literally telling my boy like before I got here, I was like, yeah, I'm about to go do this podcast. I don't know why they think I'm that interesting. We gonna find out. I guess.
Nah, facts.
Like they think I'm interesting.
We don't found out.
Facts. Let us know in the comments if y'all found her interesting or not.
Please do. Please do.
But yeah, let's go do it for today's show.
Like to interview?
You ready?
Yeah, shout out to Alex
For sure.
for that dope interview.
Definitely.
A lot of things going on there, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Always, man. Tell
You know
your
what I'm
friends, tell your
saying?
relatives, all of that, man. Subscribe.
And,
Catch us on the kick as well. We'll
Yeah,
have
that's
that for y'all
coming.
next week.
Yeah, for sure.
man.
And then outside of that, man, everybody have a good. It's 4th of July weekend, I guess. You know what I'm saying? 4th of
This
July is on Tuesday.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm
during the
saying?
week.
But,
Okay, yeah, word.
It's
yeah.
the weekend.
Okay.
I feel like it's 4th of July
I know
weekend,
people
but
are tripping off that. You're telling me we have to work on Monday?
Do
They're
they?
Like, yo,
they tell them they got work
funny.
on Monday. That's crazy. But yeah, man. Everybody enjoy the weekend, and we'll see y'all next week. Same
Real
time.
early.
Yeah.